Hi guys, and welcome back to another story time, and another one from Blackberry Farm. And tonight's story is Henry Goes Visiting. I'm trying a different setting. I've got my legs crossed, which is what I always have, and then I've got the camera like this on my stool in front of me, and I don't know, might work, might not. So hopefully the setting works out, and if it doesn't, I'm gonna have to try something else. So without further ado, sit back, relax, get your nice little pillow. I've got a Harry Potter pillow here for me, and I'm gonna read it on my pillow today actually, because I'm in like a bit of a snuggle mood actually. I'm gonna grab this pillow. Apparently I've got too many pillows, but I say you can never have too many pillows, so sit back, get comfy, and let's get on with it. Henry was a large grown-up pig. He was also a strong silent pig, and he lived at Blackberry Farm. He had his own little house in the yard, and he liked to look over his gate and watch the other animals, and sometimes he would talk to them, but not very often, because Henry was a silent pig. He watched and he listened and he thought, and then one day he did something quite new. One afternoon in October, when Mr. and Mrs. Smiles and their children, Joy and Bob, were in the fields picking up potatoes, Henry lifted the latch of his gate and walked out across the yard and down the lane. Mother Hen and Mary watched him go. Later on, just as it was getting dark, Henry came back again. Mother Hen and Mary were waiting for him. "Henry, Henry, where have you been?" they clucked. "I've been to London to visit the Queen," Henry grunted, and went back to his little house to look for tea. "What rubbish," fussed Mother Hen. "Of course he hasn't." And she went clucking across the yard to tell Walter Duck. The next afternoon, Henry went off again, and the next, and the next, and the next. By the end of the week, the farmyard was in a flutter, wondering what it was all about. Ernest Owl called a meeting to discuss the situation. Emily the goat turned up with little Martha the lamb. Mother Hen and Mary, of course, were there. The Walter Duck, George the kitten turned up late. He was always late. Lucy Mouse crept in beside Martha when George was not looking. Rusty could not come, as he was working in the fields with Mr. Smiles. And Joe Robin was always on business. They met in the yard and listened carefully, while Ernest sat on a old bucket near the farm back door. And while he was speaking, Henry came trotting home again. "Hi, Henry," hooted Ernest. "Tell us where you've been." But Henry only grunted and went into his little house to look for his tea. Now all that time, Mr. and Mrs. Smiles and Bob and Joy did not know about Henry, because every day that week they had been working hard in the fields to get all the potatoes brought in before the frost came. And Henry was always in his little house waiting for his tea when they came home in the evening. The only two who knew about Henry were Mrs. Squirrel and her daughter Hazel, because they lived in the old oak tree down the lane from Blackberry Farm. And a free afternoon they saw Henry trotting past their tree, and every evening he stopped to talk to them on his way back home. Now Henry was a silent pig, but he always stopped and spoke to Mrs. Squirrel, because Mrs. Squirrel kept a big store of acorns, and all pigs love acorns. And every afternoon on his way home, Mrs. Squirrel gave Henry a bowl of acorns, and he told her his news. It was big news. His sister, Henrietta, had just had her first family, 12 little fat pink pigs, and every afternoon Henry had trotted down to the farm where she lived to visit them, because he was very fond of his sister Henrietta, and he thought her babies were beautiful. The day after Ernest Owl's meeting, while Henry was munching his acorn and talking to Mrs. Squirrel, Joe Robin joined the party and heard the news about Henrietta. So off he flew to tell Ernest the secret. Ernest was most interested. He had met Henrietta once, but he could not understand why Henry would not tell them himself. "I know," said Joe. "Henrietta doesn't want everyone at the farm to go down and see her babies yet, and Henry agrees that it will be very awkward for her, because there isn't much room in her little house now. You ask him yourself." So Ernest met Henry that afternoon when he came home and asked him about Henrietta. And Henry said he could tell all the others now, because the babies were allowed to go out, and Henrietta was going to bring them along herself the next afternoon to show them to everybody, and to have tea with Henry in his little house. Every afternoon and the next, Henrietta arrived with her family. Mr. and Mrs. Smiles and Joy and Bob came home early and saw them too. And then everyone at Blackberry Farm knew why Henry had been out visiting. And that is the end for tonight's story. So I hope you enjoyed this video, enjoyed the rest of your evening. Please thumbs up this video so I know that you like it and want to see more. Comment down below what it is you want me to read stories from, whether it be Happy Families, Wind in the Willows, Winnie the Pooh, that sort of thing. And please subscribe if you want more videos. And we've got 18 subs currently filming this. So it'd be great if we could get that sub count up. And if you want to see more story time, then that will be the way to do it. I won't stop if I don't get any subscribers, so I'll always keep doing it. But if you want notifications on when story time is, hit the little bell when you subscribe. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Goodbye.